Richard, astrobiology is becoming a real science today. We know how the atmosphere of exoplanets can be analyzed through the sunlight. So it's not science fiction and it's not metaphysics. It's real science. Just some speculative thoughts. Would we expect the natural selection and evolution in life forms, assume there are life forms, to be as ubiquitous in the universe as we know the laws of physics are?
I stick my neck out as far as saying that if there is life elsewhere, it will be Darwinian life. I think there's no other way in which you can get to the sort of complexity of organization and the illusion of design that life has. Of course, there are artifacts which are produced by living things. I mean, these cameras on their trolleys and things, and cars and computers and things, they're all not produced by natural selection, but they're produced by creatures which are produced by natural selection. I think there's got to be natural selection.
Watchmakers that can see.
Yes, that's right. I've analysed all the alternatives that have ever been suggested to producing life, and mostly Lamarckian and things like that, and then none of them work. Even if the facts, even if on some other planet acquired characteristics were inherited, Lamarckian evolution, that's the principle of use and disuse. The more you use a bit of yourself, the bigger it gets, and then you inherit that. Even if the facts allowed that, which they happen not to on this planet, even if they did allow that on another planet, it's not a big enough theory to give rise to things like eyes, as complicated things that really work through and through. It's one thing to say your muscles get bigger if you use them, and that's true. But you can't make an eye like that. You can't say the more you use an eye, the clearer you can see, or something of that sort.
And part of that reason is you have to have a multiplication of the universe of possibilities that you're working for. So you need a randomness. You need a lot of options to work with because of the complexities, and then natural selection to work on that.
Yes, you do. I suppose, I mean, I don't want to sound as though I think that life elsewhere will be just like it is here.
Yeah.
It almost certainly wouldn't be. But the one thing I would say is that it will be Darwinian. There'll have to be some kind of genetics, and I bet it's digital genetics like it is here. I think analog genetics would not be high fidelity enough to foster evolution. You can ask other questions like, will there be sex? And I don't know. I wouldn't like to stick my neck out on that. I wouldn't like to say whether the genetics is a one-dimensional code. I mean, DNA is one-dimensional. It's read along one
sure.
straight stream. I could imagine a two-dimensional genetic code, a matrix. Probably not three-dimensional, because it's hard to read the inside of a solid object. I quite like that kind of speculation. I would guess that it's probably going to be carbon-based. People have occasionally suggested silicon, but I don't think that has the necessary versatility of chemistry that carbon does.
There's certainly an abundance of carbon available.
Yes, I think so. And I suspect protein-based too. I think proteins are remarkable molecules that have the property of catalyzing, as enzymes catalyzing chemical reactions by great orders of magnitude, speed-ups of chemical reactions. And they do it by their three-dimensional structure, three-dimensional shape, and they fold themselves into their three-dimensional shape, obeying rules which, on our planet at least, are conveyed by the one-dimensional DNA code, which is then translated into the one-dimensional sequence of amino acids. And then that gives rise to an automatic folding under the laws of chemistry, an automatic folding into a solid shape. And it's that solid shape that determines its catalytic, enzymic properties. So I would bet that it's going to be protein-based. I would not bet on DNA. I would bet on something a bit like DNA, but probably not DNA. That would be too much of a coincidence. And certainly not the same genetic code, even if it was DNA.
One could say that there are three possible transitions for extraterrestrial life. There's no life to life. There's life to intelligence, however we define intelligence, and then intelligence to technology. because we have many intelligent beings. There were fossils here. They were intelligent in many ways, but didn't develop technology. How do you see each one of those transitions?
That's a very important distinction, because if we ever detect life on other planets, my guess is it will not be bodily life, because its distances are too great. And so it is going to be by radio or by electromagnetic radiation of some sort. SETI, it's the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And intelligence is the operative word there, because if they're not intelligent, they've got to be technological, actually. Otherwise, they can't send radio messages and we can't pick them up. So although the universe may be teeming with something like unicellular life, we are unlikely ever to know about it. But we may know about intelligent life, because intelligent life, technological life, has the capacity to reach us by broadcasting signals in all directions from wherever they are.
I had one well-known name in evolutionary biology, I'll tell you later off camera, who says that he believes that life is fairly abundant in the universe, but is virtually sure that there's no intelligent life, because he said that barrier, the barrier between non-life and life was a barrier, but not a significant one, but the one between life and intelligence is an enormous barrier.
I think it is enormous, but on the other hand, the same statistical argument that says there's got to be life, I think applies to that as well. It may be that only some tiny fraction of 1% of life is intelligent life, but that's still going to be a large number, given that we've got whatever it is, 10 to the 22 possible stars.
And at least one planet for every star, and maybe more.
Yeah. So intelligent life is going to be a lot rarer than life, but that probably still means it's pretty common.